Respected seniors, our esteemed guest, and my dear colleagues, a very pleasant good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of IT Division, I welcome you all to this session as part of MSIL IT Security Week 2022. The theme for today's session is Fight the Fish, which is very apt in today's context of cybersecurity. In the inaugural session on 31st Jan, MD San and JMD San emphasized on the value and criticality of our data. In yesterday's session, the keynote speaker emphasized on how important it is to secure these data because the attackers are always on the prowl to steal the information or ransom from the organization. Phishing is one of the methods for the attackers to get inside and steal. So, let's learn more about how to fight the fish in today's session so that we protect ourselves. Now, I would like to request and invite Manji ma'am, Executive Director and General Counsel, Maruti Suzuki India Limited, to set the context for today's session and invite the keynote speaker. I would also like to request everyone to drop their queries in the chat below for this session. Over to Manji ma'am.
Thank you, Kausar San, for inviting me to set the context for today's session and fight the fish. Information security has been gaining ground for some time now, but the pandemic really has made it top priority for organizations. We are living in a data driven world and an information technology enabled world. While on the one hand, it's a great enabler and increases productivity and connects us globally, it also comes with its associated challenges and risks, the most important of which is cyber attacks. And Maruti certainly is no exception to this threat. Cyber attacks can come in different forms, usually through websites, networks, USB devices, but the most prominent area of attack, however, continues to remain the email on which a majority of the business interactions happen in Maruti and in many other, and almost all other organizations. To give you an idea about how large is that email traffic for MSIL, in the last quarter, 45 million emails arrived at Maruti Suzuki email gateway, out of which 27 were phishing or non-genuine emails, which were blocked by the technical filters. Now, this is really what, when you get such emails, these are what are called phishing emails in IT parlance. That's where a hacker actually sends an email which looks very important and entices you to take action. For example, these could, be mails coming from the income tax department, or could be from your bank. And obviously, you get concerned, and you will be enticed to look at it. If you're not careful, you could land up clicking on such emails and immediately expose your computer, your phones, iPhones, and your iPads to a phishing attack where the hacker actually takes control of your systems and can absolutely compromise your confidentiality and the cybersecurity. Just to bring home the enormity of the problem, let me share some numbers. Phishing attacks now cost organizations almost $15 million annually, which is more than about $1,500 per employee. And these phishing attacks have only accelerated during the pandemic when organizations have moved to remote and hybrid working models. Closer home in India, ONGC suffered a loss of close to about 200 crores due to a phishing scam recently. The FBI reported that businesses in US have lost close to about 2 billion US dollars to email scams in 2020. Apart from your compromising your security and confidentiality and related legal consequences and loss of reputation, the significant damage caused by a successful phishing attack is actually loss of employee productivity. I'm sure this data makes a strong business case for securing information from cyber attacks and actually makes a great segue into our discussion for today on Fight the Fish. It's my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for today's session, Dr. Muktesh Chandar, IPS, currently Special Commissioner, Technology and Project Implementation with the Delhi Police. Dr. Chandar started his career as a quality engineer with BHEL, but soon moved into public service when he joined the Indian Police Service in 1988 and has since served in prestigious positions as head of Delhi Traffic Police, DGP Goa, Center Director Cyber Division in National Technical Research Organization under the Prime Minister's Office, to name a few. Dr. Chandra is not just an illustrious police officer with over 33 years of rich experience, but more importantly, it is his expertise in cybersecurity, in which actually he holds a doctorate from IIT Delhi, that adds to his professional persona. His He uses his expertise to write for large dailies and prestigious journals on cybercrime, cybersecurity, and critical information infrastructure protection. And given his multifaceted personality, you'd be surprised, and it is no surprise to me, but I'm sure you will appreciate that Dr. Chandar is also a trained flute player and has many CD releases to his credit. It is with great pleasure that I welcome Dr. Chandar to today's session on Fight the Fish as part of our IT Security Week. We look forward to a wonderful, interesting, interacting, and informative session with you, Dr. Chandar, today. Over to you, Dr. Chandar, to address our audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank my friend and my esteemed colleague from DC and also from my school, Mr. Kalsi, for enabling me to join this program, and also to Manjari ji for trusting me on this very complicated topic. And a small correction that I have superannuated just 2 days back after 33 and a half years of my service. So I would devote my more time to cyber issues now than the policing, which the term is over now. And I have a small presentation which I can share right now so that we can begin with that. So, is the PowerPoint visible to all of you? I'm not. Is the PowerPoint visible? Please, can somebody share?
So we are able to hear your voice now.
Can you see the slide now?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it is there, sir.
So I'm sure all of you are aware of internet. You are practicing cyber people from the cyber security, as well as have undergone a lot of cyber security sessions. And I'm also very glad that Maruti is celebrating this, observing this information security week. That's a wonderful way to make employees aware of the issues. Internet has a technical definition, but for me, the internet is just like a forest jungle where good, bad, ugly characters are there, and some of them are good, some of them are dangerous. There are pitfalls, but they are lovely things to see, and it is inevitable for us to pass through that forest. But before doing that, we have to be aware of the risks and dangers, and then only we have to go about it. If you keep this thing in mind always, then this will be one of the guiding principles whenever we are interacting on cyber world, uh, that it is an unknown, but still we have to deal with it. So now digital world is all around us. It is unavoidable. There is no choice. But at the same time, entering it involves certain risks. So one should be aware of the risks and then navigate that path. Coming to phishing, phishing, as you all know, the term originated from actual fishing. So there is a bait, there is a fish, which is the victim when it bites it, and then there are phishing variations such as wishing, smishing, and all that. And the quantity of phishing going around the world has already been mentioned by Manjariji. $15 million loss is incurred. There are various estimates on what kind of phishing losses are there, and how many unique websites are detected and shut down. They keep on cropping again and again. This is an ongoing process. There'll be servers, there'll be mischievous elements which will host these phishing sites, and then they will be shut down, taken down by law enforcement agencies and other internet watchdogs, and then they keep on coming in. Very simply said, that phishing is a method of trying to gather personal information using deceptive mails or websites. So either there is a website which is a fake website looking exactly similar to a regular website, which is asking you to share certain information, which could be your email credentials, which could be your credit card, which could be your bank related information, or there is a deceptive mail which has been sent to you, and that has got certain links, and you click those links, and your computer is compromised or your information is stolen.
Sir, I'm
Now,
sorry for brief intervention. Sir, slide is not moving.
slide is not moving. I'll move it first. So is it there or not there?
Yeah, it is there visible so on the what is internet slide, but after that,
After that, you're not getting.
yeah, yeah.
What
Now, right
about
now it
now?
is on the fishing. Fishing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is on
So
the
that
fishing.
let's do it like this then. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
sir. Thank you.
now there is a slight difference between phishing and another word called spear phishing. Phishing is targeted to anyone and everyone without being specific. So it's when you are going for a particular kind of fishing in a river or a sea, you just throw your bait and wait for any fish to bite. But in spear fishing, you are interested in a particular fish only. And then you design your bait in such a manner that only that fish bites it. So I will go to that also. Now, in spear phishing attack, first of all, there is a target officer. The victim is identified. His email ID is identified. His interests are studied from various social media, open source. Then, after knowing very well about that officer or about that entity, whether it can be a government officer or a Maruti officer or anyone, in which the fraudster is interested, a very well crafted message is sent with an attachment or a link. The attachment could be in doc form, PDF, PPT, or anything. Depending upon that interest, those kinds of mails will be sent, and in a large number of cases, it is highly possible that the officer believes that this mail has been sent to him genuinely and clicks it. The moment it is clicked, your computer gets infected without you knowing about it, and later on, lot of consequences follow because of that. The entire computer is now under the command and control of a particular person who is attacking you, and he will later on escalate his access to the system, to the server, and use this as an opportunity to attack, launch a full-fledged attack. In a similar way, email takeovers are possible where the actual email of the person is taken over, and from that a large number of phishing mails are sent, which are actually genuine because the account has already been taken over, and the junior employees or the business contacts and associates are likely to believe that it has originated from that particular officer, and certain deals are made, certain money is transferred, certain information is shared, which actually goes to the fraudster. Coming back to phishing, the kind of messages you may get on the phishing link is like this. This is a State Bank of India website, uh, which is a fraudulent website which is asking for your username and a password. The moment you type your username and password, the account can be taken over. Now, everything in this website will appear similar except for the information it is asking. So it is asking for credit card number, profile password, and all kinds of password without you knowing that this is not the original website, but a fake website. In the same way, uh, earlier the Axis Bank was UTI Bank. I got this mail myself, which is a fake mail. uh, Then Bank of America, I was not a customer, but still I got this mail. ICICI Bank also, I was not having this bank account, but still they sent me this mail. And these are all phishing mails, means they are not directed to a particular individual, but to large number of people simultaneously, because the email accounts details are available. They are sold dirt cheap in the dark web, or CDs are available, and then the database is available, and from that they choose to send to anyone. Out of thousands, at least one will fall prey and bite the bait, and he'll be cheated. I'm skipping many of these slides for the sake of it, because just to make you aware that the entity could be anything. It could be bank, it could be organization, it could be anything, and there may be a fake website available which is trying to steal the credential. Now coming back to spear phishing. Spear phishing, as I told you, is a very well targeted and crafted message. Now look at this email. This email was received by the office of Dalai Lama some time back, which I had the opportunity to investigate, and it has got a very well crafted message for the office of Dalai Lama, along with uh, some attachment. The moment you they clicked this, and the computer was infected, and you can very well guess which country or operatives could be behind uh, the cyber espionage of Dalai Lama. Now this is another one very well crafted message from the so-called vice director of India Strategic, and it says it was sent to DRDO, and the subject matter is Indian Navy inducts nuclear powered attack submarine, and this is something something something. Please find the press release on the subject. The press release was a document attached which was malware, and the moment somebody clicked this in DRDO, the DRDO computer would be infected. Now, this was another one which I received when I was holding the position in National Technical Research Organization under Prime Minister's office. Somebody tried to play game with me also, and sent this very well crafted message in the name of one Miss Bhanumati. Uh, Later on, because I could identify that this is a phishing mail, this was having an attachment which I didn't open, and contacted this Bhanumati to confirm that yes, it was a uh, phishing mail. And later on we investigated it, and it was traced to a particular neighboring country which was trying to attack us. Now there is another one. Why I'm mentioning these mails are because of the stakes involved. This was addressed to Chairman ISRO in Government of India, and again it was from I. It appeared as if it is coming from IDSA. IDSA is a think tank of Defense Ministry, and the topic itself says take cyber attacks seriously, etc., etc., and as if it was coming from Rao Tulara Marg. Those of you are aware that IDSA has an office at Rao Tulara Marg, and the attachment was again a Microsoft Word document which was crafted to exploit a particular vulnerability which we call CVE uh, 0158 in technical language. This was also investigated, and interestingly, the other recipients of this malware were these people. You can see Scientific Secretary to Government of India and a lot of other senior officers in ISRO, as well as various other entities like antriksh.gov.in and all that. Now, you can see the damage such mails can cause, because one person is careless, and he believes that the email has originated from a genuine source, and he clicks these. Now, in a similar fashion, in 2016, SWIFT credentials for banking transactions were stolen using a spear phishing attack, and more than 1,000 crores were being diverted, but it was traced promptly, and the funds were blocked. But not so in the case of Cosmos Bank attack, in which about 94 crores were stolen, again using well crafted phishing mail. The access was actually obtained using that phishing mail. Uh, Manjari has already mentioned about ONGC scam. These are some of the bank scams which I am mentioning. Air India as an organization fell to the cyber fraudsters, and about I think 25 crores or something were uh, sent to Nigeria instead of the genuine company. Again, one Italian company, 130 crores were lost using uh, access of account by phishing email. Now, very interesting thing would be that how do you identify phishing website or phishing mail or SMS? First of all, the URL, the from which you are seeing that particular link, that would be deceptive. That will appear to be very similar to the particular organization, but there will be few small changes here and there. Instead of O, it will be 0. Instead of uh, complete URL, there'll be one or two things missing, and a genuine ignorant person is likely to uh, miss it out. Then there is a tendency to shorten the URL by tiny URL. So by using bitlay or tiny URL, the complete URL is shortened, and then you cannot see which uh, website you are trying to open. The hyperlink sometimes is hidden, or the address bar is hidden. Then the URL contents are sometimes hidden, and unless you do know which website you're trying to open, you're likely to go to a spam website, the phishing website, and unable to distinguish between the two. So one way is to use who is check, try to run that. Sometimes the language or the grammar is very poor in these messages or mail. That also should generate a suspicion that this could be uh, fraudulent. One should develop a habit of looking at each mail or each SMS you receive with suspicion, particularly if they have an attachment. It is better to check with the concerned officer by using phone, that have you sent me a mail which has got attachment? Are you the right person to send? Or your account has been taken over, and then from there I am receiving this mail? Because unless you are expecting some attachment, any attachment can be a source of malware or infection. And if somebody is asking for personal information, then most likely he is a fraud. The another way of identifying is, as we say, smell the bait and the urgency. In many of these messages or mail, there is an element of urgency, because he wants you to bite the bait as early as possible. So somebody who is trying to push you around to bite that mail, your antennas must sound and you must get alerted. Now, very simple way of protecting yourself is, do not download attachment at all without verification. As I mentioned to you, contact the person physically, or by phone, or any other alternate arrangement, to find out whether he has sent you a mail which has got an attachment and it is a genuine one. In the similar way, do not click hyperlinks without verification. Keeping your operating system up to date and your antivirus up to date, and if you are an organization in an organization, then you can have a specially anti-spam and anti-phishing softwares which will take care of many of these things. But I have seen that, including in NIC, in Government of India, and so many other organizations, whatever you may do, you may filter out maybe 90% of these, but still 1 or 2%, 5% of these mails will still get through. And if you blindly trust the anti malware software of your organization or your own computer, then you may likely to lower your guard and things may go bad. Another way of which most of the banks have started doing it is multi-factor authentication to open your mail as well as do any other financial transactions. Uh, in spite of all the precautions, as we say that we have taken 2 doses of corona and still you fall prey to coronavirus, in the same way, in spite of taking all the precautions, you are likely to fall prey. So it is better to take backup of your valuable data, and you can go back to previous status of your computer as well as your mobile and start working again without suffering much. But if your data is lost, or you are subjected to ransomware, then it's a very difficult situation. And stay always updated and informed, so that you are able to take necessary precautions as you have been doing it in COVID-19. Now, what if you are a victim of phishing? Obviously, you first of all inform your IT department. Uh, you immediately should change all your passwords. If it is involving a bank, you report to bank and the credit card company, and then reconfigure your PC or mobile to the factory setting. In government organization, we actually take a sample of that virus also and send it for malware analysis. So if Maruti has got those facilities where you can identify that particular mail as a phishing mail, then you can report uh, to government agencies, for example, CERT-IN or NCIIPC, National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, that you have received such a mail, because Maruti also has got a lot of design documents and other related highly protected and confidential information, which uh, your competitors or where rogue countries or where some state sponsored actors are likely to uh, be there behind all these attacks. So it is important to inform a particular government entity also about it. If it is not of that level and it involves individual or a smaller this thing, then you should report the matter to local police or at the National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal. This is one of the simplest way of uh, protecting yourself. This doesn't even this not only applies to phishing but also applies to all kinds of cyber crimes individuals and organizations are facing. And the touchstone is it too good to be true? Are you so lucky that you have won crores of rupees without even applying for that lottery? Somebody who is talking to you on your phone, is he too polite to be a gentleman? How can you be sure that the call you have received purporting to be from State Bank of India or from any other entity is the right person? How do you know? How can you be sure? Remember, nothing comes for free. Money doesn't grow on trees. Do not take chocolate from strangers. So do not bite a fish, bite the bait. Do not open attachments from strangers. Control your greed. Be suspicious and skeptical like a crow in this dangerous world. One has to be as alert as a crow. uh, do not believe everything and anything on internet and whatsapp university is the word coming very often in. And you cannot be complacent. It's your data, it's your information, you have to take care of yourselves. Police and other organizations will come later on. You may succeed in recovering your money, you may succeed in recovering from the losses, but why fall prey to that in the first place itself? It is also important that you should watch programs which are informing you of various kinds of cyber crimes. What is happening in the jungle, what is happening in the internet world, you should know so that you can take precautions. And obviously, I have been traffic chief of Delhi, and I have seen people taking road safety very, very lightly, even when it comes to their head. They don't take precaution of using a helmet. So, in such an environment, talking of cyber security is a far-fetched idea unless one is very, very safety oriented. And obviously, Nimbu Mirchi Totka won't help. You have to take a lot of precautions in this world. So, with this, I would end my uh, presentation, and now we can go back to certain questions and anything somebody would want to ask specifically in a particular way. Over to you, Mr. Kosser.
Uh, uh, Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. So, with your deep permission, we will take a few questions. Uh, you did talk about the how to detect these frauds, how to reduce the impacts, and I think what similar questions are there on the chat. How do we, or what is the chances of recovery if someone has become a victim of these kind of fraud, especially the financial transactions from their accounts? I think. What are those ways or means so that the recovery can be uh, done quickly?
That's a very good question. Whenever somebody falls prey to a financial fraud, the time is the essence. So, as soon as possible, you should immediately inform the police, you should immediately inform the bank or the credit card company, block your debit card or credit card, and insist upon bank to reverse that transaction or block that particular account. If you do it within 24 hours, even the RBI guidelines say, I think the time is 48 hours or something, that in that case the you're likely to get the money, and the bank is likely to refund that money to you, because you have raised the flag uh, within the time frame. But if you delay it, by the time the money is transferred to some other account, and then they withdraw the account, and most of these accounts are fake. Their addresses cannot be traced. People withdraw money using surrogate accounts, and then they cannot be traced, or buy certain goodies, and neither with the help of mobile number nor with the help of bank account you can trace these people. So the reaction time has to be very, very fast.
Okay, sir. Thanks. Sir, there another question on the chat. Is it safe to use Bitly in business transaction?
No, I would suggest that Bitly should not be used. You want to share a URL with somebody, and it is a very long URL. So you shorten it and then send it. But uh, that is a camouflaged way. You will come to know the actual URL only when you have clicked it. So it is better to check it at some other place before clicking it.
Okay, sir. Uh, I think these were there were many questions, but I think you answered mostly related to how to detect fraud and how to reduce impact. So with this, the that was the last question in the chat. So, sir, thank you
Ji.
so much for your very insightful session, and I think all of us have taken lessons uh, from this, gained some knowledge, and definitely it will help every one of us, the participant today, in securing self and the organization from these, you can say, frauds and attacks. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to request Mr. R.S. Kalsi, Member Executive Board, Maruti Suzuki India Limited, for his vote of thanks. Over to Kalsi, sir.
Uh, well, dear colleagues, I think there are very few officers who are intellectually so refined and holding the highest levels of qualifications, and at the same time having a strong footing on the ground. And I have no hesitation in saying that Dr. Muktesh Chandraji is in that rare category of the officers today. Uh, Now, today's session clearly reflects upon what kind of deep insights he has got on the cyber security. He is an international speaker as well on cyber security, and he has a very vast experience. And He started with a very, very good metaphor of a forest having poisonous animals as well as friendly animals, and fruit trees as well as poisonous weeds. Relating it with the Internet of Things, that is so much of an integral part of our lives today. And I think a very good clarity he provided on the fishing males as well as spear fishing, which I have heard for the first time, and learned about it for the first time, and also the methodology that these hackers use to go in for spear fishing attacks. Now, in his typical style, he has not only mentioned that how we should identify these trouble areas, these potentially dangerous areas, but also he has been able to elucidate us on the way we can counter these menaces, and he told us very, very fine nuances of cyber security, and guided us on how we can protect ourselves. And honors of protection lies with us. He has very clearly and very loudly stated this, that police and other agencies come into picture later. So I would like to say that very deep insights we could get, and very thorough understanding we could get from Dr. Muktesh Chandraji, and I'm sure that all my colleagues will get benefited from today's insights. In fact, I have attended number of cyber security webinars, and this by far is the best webinar which I have attended, which gives us such wonderful practical insights into cyber security, and how to protect against these attacks. So on that note, I would like to thank Dr. Muktesh Chandraji for the valuable time he spared, because being at one of the highest positions in the Delhi police, his job is very tension packed, and he's a very busy person, and I think sparing even a few minutes for him becomes difficult. And I'm thankful to you, Dr. Muktesh Chandra, for sparing your valuable time, and educating all the audience on the cyber security. So thank you very much, Dr. Muktesh Chandra. Really delighted to have you here.
Thank you, Kalsi Saab. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kalsisan, for your vote of thanks for Dr. Muktesh Chandra. And before closing, I would also like to thank all my seniors and colleagues for their time for today's session and participating in the session. Thank you so much, everyone.